All right, here we go. All right. If you guys want to turn your cameras and we're going to go from here. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to God's Crusade. I know we've been off for a couple of weeks, been going through a lot of stuff, but now we're back. So we're going to start off this because there's been a lot going on in social media. There's been a lot going on in the news and everything like that. So therefore, we're going to start off with this one comment. How do you guys feel now about everything going on since you guys been hearing about everything's been going on? I mean, it's been a lot of stuff with transgender community, a lot of stuff with LGBT community. It's been a lot of stuff with transgender, female to male, a lot of stuff with male to female. It's been ridiculous. So we're gonna start off with this one statement and question. How do you guys feel about the new legislative law that just put out today, stating the fact that they're not allowing transgender into any sports at all? You have to be born, you have to be played. In order for you to play, you have to be in the sex that you were born in to play any type of sports. How you guys feel about that one? Jamil, you can answer it anytime. Troy can answer it anytime you guys want to. You guys in?
It's by choice. Excuse me, but I'm got all my grandkids. But I just think it's just by choice. If you choose to, you choose to. If you don't, you don't.
The fact that they made it a law.
This is the home of the, what they say, the home of the free, the what of the brave.
Yeah, but ain't no home of free, nothing of brave, nothing going on right now.
I don't. At this point, I don't, because they're taking away too many of our rights. Is what we decide what we want to do.
Right.
So why are you taking my rights away from me, or what I want to do, or who I want to be? Now you're trying to tell me who I can be and who I can't be. It's too much to me. It's too much.
I agree. You know, it's getting to be ridiculous to a point now that you got people running scared. Literally, you got people running scared from Florida because they don't want to be in Florida anymore because he's doing a lot, you know, and it's getting down to a point where even people outside of Florida are getting like, you know, they're not sure anymore because they're making it so hard for the LGBT community. You know, it's no longer about it's about what you appear to be like, you know, and it is come to be to a point where I'm like, what in the heck is really going on? Let's start off with the thing about them not letting teens even transition. That's a whole thing on its own. Anybody want to put a lead on that one? Because that's been a heavy all week.
I mean, I can see where they're coming from, the mentality of a child not really coming to a permanent decision of where they are. And I've seen plenty of my cousins fluctuate because, you know, they didn't know how they stood, and they based upon their identification upon how people treat them. So as a kid, I mean, it's like a child takes on a lot of emotions. So I won't take away if my grandson came to me today or tomorrow and said, "Hey, grandma, this is who I am. I'm gonna love him from right where he is." But the government don't see it that way.
Right.
People who aren't attached to our kids don't see it that way, and they feel this America, the United States of America. When you come into this world, you come into this world as a number. And you're a warden of the state, and they just feel as though they can do what they want to do with you. They can make you make decisions that you just don't want to make. Period. So if, like I said, if any one of my grandkids come to me, I'm down for whatever they choose. That's what they choose to want to be. But the government, these ain't the government's kids. These are our kids. These are our kids. And we must continue instill in our kids to still, regardless of what the government say, be who you are. Walk in your truth, because there's too many of the kids that want to walk in their truth. They're being bullied. They're being ridiculed because, you know, what the government said, what the people say, what the news reporters say.
Right.
So, I mean, the government really needs to look into, because lives are at stake here when our kids can't be able to walk in their truth, and then they're killing themselves because they think that they're not wanted. They think that they're not needed. They think that their voice doesn't matter. So, I mean, let these kids make decisions on what they want. They got enough on their plate to deal with.
Exactly.
Let them be true.
Exactly. And the bad thing about this is that they're even saying that if the parents let them do it, they're gonna throw the parents in jail. Exactly my point. Go ahead, Troy. Please say something to this.
Yeah, that's the point that confounds me. In a time when people are supposed to be so liberal and free thinking and open and compassionate and everything else, that society still hasn't learned to allow space for other people. You know, it's supposed to be a free country. We're supposed to be able to do what we see fit with, as long as we're not abusive to our children. And here we have the government trying to put yet another boundary, like Jamil was saying, on us, and like you just tapped on the parents,
Yeah.
because we know our kids, we know ourselves, and we know what's best for our children. And the government is saying, well, do you? We think we do. So now we got Big Brother tapping us on the head with a stick if we try to do what's best for our children. And the thing that people don't realize is there's more children who are identified outside of the norm than they think. And the danger is that these children are going to continue to feel the message that society is putting out there, that they're not worth it, that they shouldn't exist, that something's wrong with them, that even their parents are wrong when they're trying to support them. And we're going to lose a lot more of our kids that way. And we're going to start losing some more of our parents. Because if you literally jail somebody for doing what's best for their child, then they have no rights.
Right.
They have no rights. Their rights have been taken. There's no more free choice. There's no more freedom to run your household. And where does it stop? I always tell, you know, I talk to my spouse a lot about these things that I see. And I say, okay, so it starts with us, but where does it end? Now, you know, there's a lot of folks who, you know, they're okay with the things that are going on with the LGBT community and these laws. They feel like they're led by the Bible, or they're compelled to do these things for the safety of the children or whatever. They love the children so much. But at the same time, when it starts to be an edict or dictation on their children about other things besides sexuality, then they're gonna say, oh, now you've gone too far. No, you've gone too far already. So it's up to us to kick and scream and keep our faces visible, keep our children visible. There's people who have physically moved from one state to another. I've even considered it. And I'm like, if North Carolina starts that foolishness, I might have to relocate, because what I'm not going to do is be afraid to be myself. What I'm not going to do is be arrested for helping my child who may or may not be LGBTQ. If my child comes to me and says, I want to be recognized like this, or I feel like I don't deserve to live, I'm going to do what's best for my child, because I want my child to live.
Right.
And I don't want to get locked up for it. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
It's getting to be it's getting to be too much. I got a statement that says what they don't realize is that this will come to their house eventually.
Absolutely.
Eventually it's gonna wind up coming to one of their houses, and they're gonna wind up and say, wow, maybe we shouldn't have put those laws out there. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. I don't I don't understand the reason. And I really want to say this. I think either something happened that somebody fell in love with somebody and they found out they were who they wasn't or who they thought they was. And I think all of this is coming out because I may be wrong, but I don't think so. Because I find it highly hard that all the Republican Party is actually pushing this nonsense. I mean, you got
Mm.
you got this new thing out there now that's stating the fact that the sports thing. What next? Now it's gonna be, well, we can't do this. You can't do things this way. You can't do things that way. And I mean, let's play this. They even put the fact that now they want people to have their ID cards when they vote. So you know what they're doing? They're making sure that people do not vote if they don't have a card, or they don't have no type of, have ID. They know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing and know exactly where they're going. They're trying to do it this way that all these things they want to pass will pass without a problem. It's getting to be too much. And it's like it's piling on, not even the South anymore. It's going further up north now. It's like, wow, where do we get here? You know what I
Right.
mean? Because like it versus with the blacks, now it's the LGBT community. What next?
Right.
They're trying to find a minority of people, well, it's supposed to be not minority to them, but it's a majority of folk to to start this on. And it's getting to be too much. Got another statement says it's always a truth being hidden to get their agenda across. Basically, I agree. It's this was their agenda from the very beginning. You got every single person in the Republican Party saying, "Well, if I become president, I'm gonna do this, and this," and their list is getting thicker and thicker against the LGBT community, especially trans community. It's getting larger and longer, and it's getting out to a point now where I'm sorry, even me living in the state, I'm getting afraid to even be here, because now they're pushing it so much out there that it's becoming to be ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. They had on the news tonight, I was watching, and they're talking about Mike Pence, who is one of the candidates for the presidential race coming
Mhm.
up, right?
Mhm.
He's urging everyone in the Republican Party, now get this, to sponsor a bill that's going to say you can't abort your child after 6 weeks of pregnancy.
Mhm.
See, now the thing is, people want support on certain things, certain agendas they want to support on, and other agendas they don't. So while people right now is very much in style for the Republican Party and for a lot of other folks who are joined to them to be lashing out at the LGBT community. However, it doesn't stop there. It's leaking over to abortion rights
Yep.
and families and children of folks who have kids, whether they're same sex or not. Now they're saying 6 weeks. A woman barely knows. A lot of women are saying they don't even know they're pregnant at 6 weeks. It's
Mhm.
bad enough at 12, which we have in a lot of states. Now
Right.
that now he's urging them to chop it down to 6 and to make that a standard nationwide with the
Right.
Republican Party. He is
Right.
rallying them to do that. So here we go again. Martin Luther King kind of touched on it when he said if one person is being oppressed, then everybody's being oppressed. We're
Yep.
not free till everybody's free. So
Right.
got it doesn't apply today to you, maybe, but it's gonna knock on our door. It's gonna show up on our doorstep. So we have to
Mhm.
start now
Right.
talking to our local legislation, talking to our representatives, talking to those people who we put in office that we voted for to start doing our wishes. We pay taxes just
Right.
like everybody else. So
Yep.
we have to start
Right.
standing up and saying, I did not put you in office to do this to me or to my brothers or my sisters. And if you feel like that's what you need to do, then it's time to vote you out of office.
Right. Yep. Did you see? I put it on my newsreel. I shared it with everybody. There was one Republican actually was saying positive stuff about the LGBT community, and they banned him from talking. I'm trying to pull it up now. It was just one that said, you know, it didn't make no sense for them to go through all this stuff and that stuff, and now they banned him from even talking about
Wow.
his positives. So it is definitely the Republican Party that's doing everything. I don't really, to be honest, I don't know if the Democratic Party is doing it. I haven't heard anything about it. I've been actually looking through the news to see whether they're supporting it, but it's more of the Republican Party, and the fact that you're gonna silence one of your own tells you a lot.
Well, get
Tells you a lot.
down, lay down and get down.
Right.
Exactly. And it doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's not going to make no sense to us, but for some odd reason, it makes sense to them. And we'll never, because we live this lifestyle, we'll never even get close to understanding why they come up with these decisions that they make.
Yeah.
Because they're not out here living this lifestyle. This is a lifestyle. They're not out here living this lifestyle that we live. So I don't understand why wouldn't you come to us and get our opinion about the lifestyle that we live? You're not living this lifestyle.
Exactly.
Because the thing is that a lot of people, they don't necessarily want to hear how we live. They want to be able to dictate. They get on this little moral bandwagon and get on their little soapbox, and they want to bring God into it in a distorted way. Because if we won't go down that road tonight, but they'll bring their distorted religious views in and feel like they have a ground to stand on and say, well, because it's not morally right, we feel that we should have the right to do X, Y, and Z. And unfortunately, they don't want to listen to people who they don't agree with. They don't want to listen to people who they don't understand. They're very much afraid, because if you listen, there's a lot of fear mongering in that party. Oh my God, if we don't do something, they're going to take over. They're influencing all of our children. We're going to have a bunch of degenerates running around, a bunch of child molesters. We're going to do that. And they try to lump people in with their rhetoric into one group to stir up fear so that people feel like they have to protect themselves from us, or they have to be on the prowl or and identify us because we're a danger to them. As if we don't have any morals, as if all we want to do is hunt down straight people and turn them gay, and turn people transgender. Not realizing this is something that you're born with, and a lot of us are born knowing at an early age. But they don't want to listen to that. They don't even want to listen to science. When science tells them certain things, they don't want to listen because they have their own agenda. They have their mindset that they have the right to oppress other people because of their own beliefs.
Exactly.
And in this country, it is. But see, America has a reputation for being highly hypocritical from the jump, right?
Yeah.
Because if you read the preamble to the Constitution, where it says we believe these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, then they wanted to break down what a man consisted of, and the fact that Black people were less than 2/3 or 2/5 of a person. I mean, it started out hypocritical from the beginning. So, there's little lapses in time where we feel like we're getting a little ahead, and then there's some people that are going to jump in and try to take us 20 paces backwards. But the thing is, now there's so many of us and so many people who can connect with each other. The world isn't as small as it used to be, in a lot of ways, because now we can connect with people in Europe the same way we used to connect with our next door neighbor. So now our voices have to be heard. There's no way to hide us. We're not going away. We are connected to a lot of people in the community. We do have a voice. We are productive citizens, and we have rights, and we're going to use them.
Exactly. So I found the governor is Tom Tillis. They actually censored him. Now this is Tom Tillis who came in as Republican, saying all this yap when he first got voted in, and all of a sudden he's turning his cheek. Now the GOP has actually censored him. That's one of their own. Scary,
Wow.
really
It
scary,
is.
really scary. So let's talk about Uganda. That's that's a whole nother voyage right there. Uganda is putting anti-LGBT laws out there to a point if they find somebody LGBT, they're gonna kill them.
Let me tell you something. Jamaica used to be that way.
They did.
Yeah, it used to be that way where they used to make the song, the Party Boy, and
Oh yeah.
this and y'all that, and what I'm not going to say on live that, but if they
Mhm.
to find out, they will stone you. They would kill you on the spot. But then here comes an artist who top of the charts now and bringing, money into Jamaica, and she is a stud.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Now all of a sudden,
Yeah. Now all of a sudden it ain't bad. It ain't bad at all.
this my own country. So yeah, hypocrites, and I don't know, right? Hypocrites, because back in the day, you had no other but to live in secret, because they were police, and it wasn't nothing that was out in behind closed doors. They'll slew you right on the street in broad daylight.
Mm-hmm.
In broad daylight.
Yeah.
Because
And he cheered with it.
tell you what, misinterpretation of the Bible.
Right.
Like that. Misinterpretation of the Bible. But they're so quick. I've seen so many Baptists and some Christians and hosts of Church of God in Christ that will preach. It's right there in the Bible. Sodom and Gomorrah. You got to exegete text correctly to get the true meaning of why fire and brimstone came down on Sodom and Gomorrah. Come on now. It wasn't because Sodom, you got these words didn't come out until 1947. So riddle me that, Batman. How in the world can you sit there and say that this is what God was referring to, or this was what the author was referring to, when those words weren't even in creation? Mm-hmm. So what it did was to hide yourself from who you truly was. You want to put this as an interpretation in the Bible so that you can continue doing what you do. So now that the limelight can come off of your hand, literally, and now focus on what other people is doing. No, it was interpreted wrong, because come on now, Genesis, the book of Genesis straight says, and he made them in the image of him. Them, that's plural, both male and female. Come on now, let's get it right. Let's exegete this text correctly. Come on, we're born with both, and we still have. I have, because sometimes I can be a dominant female. I can. So what am I supposed to do? And if you don't believe, what was the purpose of God putting Adam to sleep so he could pull the female out of him so he could be a companion? Come on now. Let's talk real here.
Exactly.
So if you're going to exegete text and use the Bible against us, make sure you're doing it correctly.
Yep. I agree. I'm telling you, I agree there. It doesn't make sense. It's like, and it makes it even worse that people actually listen to it. They don't actually study the Bible for themselves. So therefore, they follow their pastors. That pastor said this, pastor said that, and pastor meant this. And pastor telling the truth, because pastor actually studied.
Right.
You study? You actually, you actually read? It's nuts. It's nuts. And we can go on all day long about everything that's happened over the past couple of weeks. Target having to take itself out of daggone stores. Belk being almost sued. It's ridiculous.
So I can't. I came to Virginia and we went to Target, and I purposely look to see if they still had it. Smack dab in front of the store. I went right over there, got me a shirt, got me some glasses, got me some t-shirt. I'm gonna represent. They still got it here in the front of the store. They didn't take it down, so I'm gonna just go ahead and I'll wait for y'all at the register.
I know, right? I don't know.
I
I'm
was
telling you.
so ecstatic when I walked into Target and I saw they still had the whole thing still up.
Mhm.
I was like, yeah, I'm going over there.
Yeah, because it's under Mason Dixon line. They it's all them taking all their stuff out. Ain't hit the northern stores yet, but it's on their way there. It's on its way.
Yeah, but we
Oh
got
my God.
money, we got supporters, we got money. Some stores aren't scared, and they're not buckling under the pressure. Some
Right,
stores are not
right,
scared. There
right.
is enough confidence in the line. There's enough confidence in the people, and they believe in supporting who they believe in supporting without being bullied by
Right.
political people, being bullied by the radical left side. They just are going to put products out because listen, we got money. We buy stuff.
Right.
We buy stuff. Our families buy stuff.
Yep.
We got money. There's enough of us to support a lot of business out here. And that's just the way it is. This society has got to get used to it. There's a chant that you hear every parade. We're here, we're queer, get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it is.
Definitely. So let's hit on. Did you guys hear about Bar 316? What they did? Reason why they're protesting them? I kind of sort of got the gist of it. It was something about that the owner of Bar 316 said something to the that person that was actually performing on stage, something to that effect. And now they actually protest. They actually shut the daggone thing down to a point where they're actually protesting it. They're not even going inside that bar no more. And mind you, it's an LGBT bar. So I mean, it's nuts out here. The things are going on. So pride parades. Let's go there. They're talking about any single pride parade that happens over the next couple of months. All these radical groups are gonna come out and start doing nonsense. Now I heard a little bit about what was it about Florida being hit on, kind of sort of bad down there. I heard from South Carolina when they had theirs that they got pretty much hit pretty bad. I haven't heard anything from the West Coast yet. I'm looking forward to hearing about the West Coast because I still got people out there that I'm connected with out in the West Coast. It's getting to a point, like I said, it's getting to a point where people are really running scared to go on these daggone parades because they're hitting those two. And they're talking about enforcing police up here in Charlotte when our parade comes up because they're afraid about that going on there as well. So are you guys gonna go to the parade? You guys gonna support the parade? Do you know? Are you hearing about what I'm hearing? Because it's been out there in the news for weeks. Anybody jump in at once? Doesn't matter. No. And I gotta have a conversation about this because it needs to be said that that it's really happening. They're really going out there and they're doing a lot. I know I heard about New Jersey a little bit. Also heard about DC. I think Baltimore's thing is this weekend, and I've been hearing about that they've been amping up police on in DC. I mean in Baltimore. Also okay, they're also doing and in New York too, huh? Okay, so it's not it's a lot. A lot's been going on. A lot of it. They had like I put out here that many worry about anti-LGBTQ bills affecting weekend pride festivities. So they're really, I mean, DC is on the verge But I like what Biden did. Biden put a whole thing out for LGBT come up in the White House, and they actually had them out there. I like the idea that at least our president is supporting us. You know what I mean? But it's scary to the point that you have to really pay attention to your surroundings on these parades. I mean, last year we only saw people like on corners, doing their usual protesting, with a oh God, God said this and God said that with their little banners, but they're not doing it anymore. They're actually hurting people. So, what are you guys going? Are you guys going to actually do anything? How you guys feel about this going on?
I was just getting ready to ask. So we know what they're doing. We know how they're trying to stop us. What are we going to do to keep being to still being able to have that freedom to walk in our truth? Because there's no way possible that I'm going to allow anybody, I don't care who you is, government, no government, I'm going to still be who I am.
Right.
Regardless. I'm going to be who I am. So the question lies within us. What are we going to do? The government is the government. Of course, we can vote those out of office who are going against us. But what else can we do? That means what I'm hearing is we can't even rally in the streets together as LGBTQ plus.
Right.
That's what I'm hearing. Or
Yeah.
they're going to come after us. That's
Yeah.
what I'm hearing. We can't do it outside. We can't do it inside. They can't tell me what to do in my own house. I'll tell you that right now. Point blank, period.
Yeah.
So what kind of sacrifices are we making to stand firm in what we believe?
No, the only thing that well, you got certain things like NC Pride and a couple of organizations out here that actually are putting pamphlets out there to letting people know what's going on. So they're actually you got NC Equality. They're actually putting stuff out there for that reason. So look, at the end of the day, I'm gonna stand who I am. I am a proud transgender man, and I'm not gonna let nobody, no one come and get me. I'm so sorry. I will pack what I need to pack. I will do what I need to do. I will defend myself at all costs because you will not hurt me or anybody who I know. I'm not about that life. I'm just not about it. And I have cousins of mine in my own family who they tell me, well, we'll never call you what your name is. Fine. You don't have to. Disrespect me. Just respect me. That's all I'm asking. You ain't gotta say nah, G. I don't, just don't call me, my former name. That's gonna irritate me. But you can call me she. I don't care. But do not disrespect me. I will not allow you to disrespect me in front of my face. Ain't gonna happen. I have cousins of mine who have said that they will not let nobody disrespect me in front of their face. I'm not about it. I'm so serious, and I'm not gonna sit there and what they call is detransition, which is a bunch of bull. We won't go there. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. I'm sorry. I've done a long time. I finally found who I was. I didn't know what it was when I was growing up, but I always knew I wasn't meant to be what I was. And I'm not going to sit there and go backwards because you can't understand the reason why we're like this. I'm just not. So
Right.
you tell me what you guys want to do because I'm not about it. I'm not about it.
I mean, at this point, I just told myself I'm going to just go ahead and continue to live my life. Period.
Yeah. And I've just made a decision to.
I'm sorry. I'm a female that loves female with my partner right next to me. What you gonna do? Arrest me? This is my free will. You can't tell me who I can fall in love with and be with. You want to take away my rights to marry? Okay. A covenant before God means more than any paperwork behind that courtroom building.
Yes.
So what you really doing? And if you want to try to go through to do the antics of, oh, they can't get you know, this or that. I'll put them in their will, they'll get it. I'll put them in my will, they'll get it. They can't get my insurance. How about this? We both got a good job. We both got good insurance. How about that? There's always a way where if you're going to do that, then I'm going to work around what you call yourself trying to stop me from doing. How about that? I'm going to find a way and beat you at what you're trying to beat me at. Period. By living my life.
Exactly.
As long as I paid my taxes, you shouldn't come knocking on my door. As long as I abide by your rules and regulations and don't break any of your laws, you should not be knocking on my door asking me to tell me, or even knocking on my lifestyle, my livelihood, asking me to do something that's outside of any law that you can have mandated down pat. And I said, and anyway, if you want to rewind and press play about even taking away our law to same-sex marriage, the only reason why you came out with a what you call it, a marriage license, is to stop black folk from marrying white folk. That's all. That's all. So if I don't need your license to tell me who I love. Period. I will work my way around it. Trust and believe me, and still walk in my truth. There ain't nothing you can do.
That's true.
The government can do.
Yep.
That's it. We have to remain visible. So, like Jamil says, we got to just look. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. My family not going anywhere. We're going to be here. We're going to stand strong. We're going to represent. Period. You know, the closet days are over. All that hiding and doing all that. Nobody has time for that anymore, because there's death in silence. There's death in silence. I had talked about this a little bit before, where we got the story of Queen Esther, right? How the government, the Persian government, wanted to exterminate the Jews. There was a conspiracy and a plot to do that, right?
Right.
And nobody knew that Esther was a Jew except her uncle. And he told her at some point, her uncle Mordecai, and her uncle told her, listen, you might be okay now because you're hiding in the wings, but at some point, somebody's going to recognize that you're a Jew too.
Come
So
on.
you better go ahead and speak up and talk for your people.
Might
And
as well.
she was in the perfect position to do that, because she could get his ear when nobody else could, right?
Yep.
So he urged her to do it, and her faith in God, her trust in God, led her to go ahead. And the catch was that you weren't supposed to appear before the king without an invite. And if you appeared before the king without an invite, he was the only one that could tell you to touch his golden scepter and step forward and talk. Otherwise, you could be killed for showing up at the court without any invitation. So she trusted God and showed up, and the king gave her the permission to go ahead and talk to him. And she told him about the plot that there was to kill all the Jews, including her. And so they were able to put into effect a law where they can defend themselves. Now we have President Biden at these times, who is trying his best to put into place laws that will help defend the LGBTQ community, right? So we were born for a time just as this, to be able to speak out and talk to our president, to show ourselves, to be visible. Same thing within North Carolina. Our governor is doing his best to veto everything that comes across through the Republican Party that's trying to limit LGBTQ rights.
Right.
And we have to take our Esther stance and say, listen, I know you give me no invitation to come here, but I'm here to speak the truth. I'm here to show up for my people. I'm here to tell you that we're here. We have the right to defend ourselves. We have the right to live our lives the way that we see fit. As long as we're not harming anybody else, leave us alone. Leave us alone. We have
Exactly.
children that we're raising in our communities. We're respectable in our communities. We are law-abiding citizens in our communities. What we do under our roof is not your concern, just like what you do under your roof is not my concern. You mind your business and I'll mind mine. It's too much people minding everybody else's business, but the business that they need to be minding.
Right. Well, how'd you? So I have an article in here saying about the KKK and other members of those organizations who are actually pulling guns on the LGBT activists. That is ridiculous. I'm like, so now the KKK is coming out again. Weren't they hiding for years? You know what I mean? So it's like y'all picked the right time, the right people to mess with. That's all I'm saying. It is really ridiculous. The hate crimes are going through the roof. And it's not just the South, it's all the way up north. It's getting to be ridiculous. It really is. It's like, wow. And the fact that they actually just I think they destroyed or tried to destroy the monument over there in New York, um over Stonewall. Is getting to be too too much. It's like you got one side doing this much and one side trying to protect all this, trying to protect against this. So now it's a big old fight that's going on, and for me, I feel like that this side's going to win. It's going to take a whole lot, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, all said and done, this side of the party is actually going to win for all these fools who are doing too much over here. It's going to take everybody to actually come out and say, look, we're not taking anymore. It is time for y'all to stop. Because be honest with you, you have a whole lot of people in the LGBT community that will not come out because they're scared. But if they see a whole bunch of people actually forming together and start, helping out each other and actually protest together, I feel like this side is actually going to lose. It may take a minute, but they need to understand that this side is not going to take it no more. So we have got to come together as people, not the black people, not just the white people, everybody, white, black, Spanish, Chinese, whoever. We all have to come together as a community of LGBT community and say, we're here, we're not going anywhere. You guys have got to stop this before it gets too much. Because I don't want to get to a point where it takes a mass shooting to actually people act up. You know what I'm saying? Because look what happened. I think it happened, I want to say, in happened one state. They had a mass shooting, and the person who actually shot the people didn't he didn't get enough jail time. You find out to be I don't understand that. You attempt to kill or kill a lot of people, but you only spend this much in jail. But if it's a black person, we'd be like under somebody's jail. You know what I mean? And it's getting to be too much. There's too much stuff. I'm going through every single article I put on the feeds for you guys to actually see, and it's like I'm seeing. It's like, wow, really? And you got the teens. I applaud the teens. Let's applaud the teenagers. Let's applaud them because they're doing a lot. You got one standing up, and they're going to Washington. They're going to legislator. They're actually standing up in the House of Representatives and the Senate. They're actually standing up saying, "Hey, you can't do this to us." So why is the teens doing that and not the older adults? That's what I'm having a problem with. You know what I mean? It's like, why? What does it take for you guys to understand that we got to do the same thing? This is why this podcast is on here, because I am actually bringing out here so people need to see that we need to start doing something, because this is a lot. And it's not even a third. I promise you, it's not even a third of the stuff that is probably out here that I haven't gotten to. But I got a big chunk of it. But it's a lot. And then
Yeah, everywhere they can.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And you got people like Liza who's actually helping out, who's helping out LGBTQ community. I mean, so she got critiqued, she got criticized for her size and the fact that she's helping out the LGBT community. What the heck is that for? You know what I mean? So it's like, why are you banging on people who's actually helping out a whole community? Why? Because what? They're not going with you, they're not going where according to you. I mean, she's saying, because she about to quit, but she said, you know what? I'm not quitting. I'm gonna keep on doing what I do. I like performing. I'm gonna keep helping people. I'm keep helping people. So I'm not gonna stop. That's what we need to start doing. We need to start getting out these closets that we've got us a bird under. Say,
That
look,
part,
you know what I'm saying? And just say, look, we have got to make a stand. We can't just
yeah.
do we just can't do this no more. We can't just say, well, it ain't bothering me, therefore I'm not gonna do it. No, it is affecting you. It's affecting you in a hard way. Now you may be okay, you got the medical surgery, right? But what happens if your medical gets cut? You can't get T no more. You can't get any more surgeries. What you gonna do now? Cry? Oh, now I'm gonna defend myself. No, you should defend it when it happened. Cause they all talking about cutting off a lot of a lot of medical things. They're talking about cutting off a lot of pharmaceutical stuff. They're talking about everything pertaining to LGBTQ community. So trust and believe. It may not affect you now, but it is. Cause I got an article that I just got recently talking about they're trying to do stuff in the VA. The VA, the government, they're trying to stop the VA from administering transgender surgeries and medication. How can you do that? You got a government, a whole government right here saying that we're going to do this, and you're trying to have them stop. I'm so sorry. I will fight the VA until the day I die. You will not stop me from getting A&T. You will not stop me from getting these surgeries. Not happening. I served my country for 7 years, and I am proud to say I served mine. You will not stop me from defending myself because you have an issue, not me. That I mean, I can be on this daggone platform for days, but I'm just getting sick and tired of seeing all this nonsense. It's getting me way too much. And like I said, it's not the South, y'all. It's the North, the Midwest, the Southeast, the Southwest, wherever it's coming every single state in this country. So y'all gonna be affected somehow. I advise you to stand up in your own states. I advise you to stand up in your own cities. I advise you to stand up in your own networks, your own communities, and say, hey, we are not gonna take this no more. We're gonna actually make a stand and make it happen. Because I'm telling you, you think it's not gonna affect you? Wait and see. It's going. Oh, I love those. Wait and see. It's gonna affect you in some way, somehow. Maybe not today, but it will tomorrow. I guarantee that. I guarantee. You guys got anything else to say? Because I'm like almost out of words to say at this point.
Your truth. Everybody, I mean, that's the only way. Can nobody stop you from walking in who you are? Just continue to walk in who you are. My advice for this evening.
Yeah. And people, everybody has something to lose. Everybody's gonna have skin in the game. Everybody's got something to lose, but we've got more to lose if we don't. We have got more to lose if we don't stand up than we do if we hide. That's all I got.
And that's the truth. So I want to say my last thing is that please, anyone actually paying attention to this stuff, because I want you to really pay attention. Get pencil and pen and paper, whatever it takes, and start writing letters to people. Write your legislative branches, write your governor, write your mayors, write your House representative, write your Senate people. Hey, I am this, and this. I am this, and this. And I do not like what's going on within this district. I don't like what's going on within this community. I don't like what's going on within the state, and make it happen. I'm telling you, if you sit there and be like in this whole little closet saying, well, I'm not going to do anything because it's not affecting me. Oh, okay, cool. Don't speak when it does. Don't speak when it comes. Don't speak when it comes down on you. Don't say a word to nobody. Oh, I didn't know it's going to happen to me. Oh, yes, you did. You didn't pay attention. So I'm gonna need you to start paying attention. I know we need to. So we need to really buckle down on everything that's against everything. Because I am not about that life. I am not. You're not going to have me detransition, send me to some camp talking about, oh, we're going to make you back into what you was. I was never that in the first place. I wasn't. So I don't know what you're trying to get me back into. I wasn't that way. I just happened to be born away, but it was not me. I was not thinking that way, was representing that way. and surely was not walking that way. So take the advice from people who are actually on this platform. Look at the news, see what's going on in your neighborhood, and do what you have to do to fight. Because I'm telling you, if you don't, they're going to bulldoze the whole community, and we'll be sitting there talking about, well, we should have, could have, would have, instead of actually doing the work. I'm gonna take it from my brother, Elder Action. Do the work. Do the work. Make it happen. Do whatever it takes. Lean on other people. Work with other people. Find somebody to work with. Do whatever you have to do to do the work. Because I'm telling you, they are hitting us hard. It's not just the trans community, y'all. They're hitting the LGBT community as a whole. It's not just trans. Because trust and believe, they're not letting y'all dance anymore in clubs. Y'all can't sit there and put on makeup anymore. Y'all can't do that anymore because they don't want y'all to do it anymore. And we're talking about the gay men and the female gay people. So trust me, it's not just trans. They're hitting each one of us in this community, one at a time. And by the time they get done with it, there will be rules and regulations for every single person in this community. We're gonna be in a box like it was back in the day when the Jews were in concentration camps. We're gonna be in concentration camps again. I'm not going there. I don't know about you, but I ain't going there. So thank you so much for being on this week's. Thank you, Brother Troy. Appreciate you guys so much. I really do, my brother. Sis, I love you like anything else. You've always been behind me. And my dear apostle, thank you so much for running this platform for me. I swear we need to what did Ashton say? Wake up. We need to wake up. It's time to wake up, y'all. We got to put in the work. So from God's Crusade, you will see again in 2 weeks. We'll have some more stuff for you, for more topics to talk about. And I want to have some more people on because the little people can push people, but the more we get, the more we can push. So good night and have a blessed weekend.
Good night.
Good night.